And now joining us, Dr. Jeff King with the King Clinic. And our topic today, 200 techniques. That can mean a lot of things, Dr. King.
200 techniques. That's the last count of available techniques to adjust manually the spine in chiropractic.
Really?
So oftentimes people come into a chiropractor have no idea what to expect, because by and large everyone, just by the numbers, would be treated differently. So I'd like to clear up the confusion about that.
That's good, because I always think that each doctor has their own technique. They do their own thing.
Pretty much.
Leaning on you with their elbows or walking on your back or something, but that's not necessarily it.
It depends on their focus. There are different schools of thought, but ultimately, no matter what the school of thought, the idea is to balance the body top to bottom, left to right, front to back, to oppose gravity more efficiently so you don't wear out. Put pressure on the nervous system and kill you.
So if I were to go to chiropractic school, that's really the basic principles, in a nutshell.
In a nutshell, that's the idea.
Okay. So then how does the 200 techniques...
As far as spine is related.
As far as spinal. How does the 200 techniques tie in with that then? Is that...
All different approaches, the same idea or concept to get there.
So those 200 are all valid?
All valid, all proven. Yep, they've been around
just
for...
Just a matter of choice?
Yep. Thousands of years, actually.
Wow.
The Fushan scrolls, these ancient Chinese scrolls that shows manipulation, and the Romans talked about it at length. Socrates, the father of medicine, Hippocrates, all these guys.
Now, when you're in chiropractic school, do you go back and look at some of that? Is there a history part of your studies as well?
Not really. Mostly, there isn't any time for that. You're learning all the ologies in the world. Biochemistry, pathology, physiology, neuroanatomy, on and on and on and on. So mostly it's you're training the rigors of science first.
Sure.
And then in the last part of it, it's clinical application of what you've learned. Okay, what do you do now? So they basically teach you a real basic system, how to approach a person. But the fine-tuning is basically your problem. You got to go figure it out later.
But is there a difference in chiropractors that some might think that everything starts with the neck or the lower back?
Sure.
Should they always go to the same spot as the source?
Or start there?
Yeah.
Some do. Classically, that's a good question, by the way. The guy that developed chiropractic, not invented it, but developed it, the son of the inventor, his name was B.J. Palmer, I'm sorry. And he felt that the upper area of the neck was the only area to look at because it was such a unique biological environment. Now, even still, over 100 years later, there are chiropractors that focus there because of these great neuroanatomists that came out with these tomes of research like Alf Breed, Barry White. These are huge medical researchers in the Eastern Bloc, and they were interested in chiropractic, especially people that focused on this area of the spine got dramatic results. They saw patients with cerebral palsy, Down syndrome, multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's disease, cancer, and oftentimes they would become well. Fascinating.
Wow.
Buried in the research and uncommon, but it does exist. Those people are specialists in the chiropractic field.
Now, is that some of the stuff your personal journey is taking to kind of dig deeper and learn more about that stuff?
A bit, yeah. Mostly, I stay fairly mechanical, bone, muscle, nerve, joint. I focus on disorders of soft tissue also, like shoulder problems, carpal tunnel, foot problems, that kind of bit, because I like that. But there are people that focus only on that.
Interesting.
And I've looked at the research, because I only do what is found in the literature that I see is relevant. Like in any discipline, there are people out there that are extremists that do some things that are different, in my opinion, that I would never do. That makes sense?
Sure.
If there's literature, then it's relevant, in my opinion.
What about a person who is, you have one chiropractor who's 250 pounds and another one is a woman at 130 pounds. Do they have to use different techniques, or is it just a matter of strength and plus the patient they're working on, whether it's a large person, a small person, a more mature person?
Sure. Well, it depends on the approach of the doctor, and of course size and shape makes a difference too. But ultimately, if we're talking about traditional chiropractic, which is high velocity, low amplitude thrust, you're going to hear joints moving around, crunching and cracking, right? That's traditional chiropractic. And speed is irrelevant. Or size, I should say. Speed is everything.
Size is irrelevant.
Yeah.
Do you always have to hit, you know, like I get my back fixed once in a while or realigned. I don't always have to hear the crack, do I?
No.
I've always heard that's oxygen.
Oh, it's
Is
a
that
gas
true?
exchange. Yeah.
It's not actually bones like popping or something. It's oxygen or a gas being released.
Well, what's happening is the joint surfaces are being gapped. They're increasing
Ah.
the area. You're separating the joints a little bit, and there's a gas exchange, and they become healthier. Because if joints don't work well, they start to build up in a real toxic gas. That's not there, and it's kind of anti-life, and it starts the decay process. So in a very basic way of looking at chiropractic, you can avoid a lot of arthritic problems by getting worked on when you feel stiff. No. That's diametrically opposed to the people who are looking here that are trying to take pressure off your brainstem. Makes sense?
Yeah.
In the upper cervical area.
You know, I'm thinking there's still a good many listeners probably who've listened to you every week who have never been to a chiropractor.
That's okay.
They don't understand it. And I think their biggest fear still is that their body is going to be pressed on and somehow you're going to break their spine or, you know.
That's gonna
So,
hurt.
so when we were talking about manipulations or adjustments, what exactly is happening and why should they not fear that?
Well, number one, there's no reason to fear because my malpractice insurance is the cheapest of any doctor in the world.
Oh,
And
that's a good point.
The reason is that we never get sued.
Interesting.
It's so safe.
Wow.
It's very, very difficult
Really good point.
for a chiropractor to hurt someone. Very difficult. Unless that person really blew it. But now the rigors are so high to get a license. I mean, there's 4 national boards. I mean, they're on you to the end to make sure you're safe and effective, Now, I, for example, use 5 different techniques depending on the situation. If someone comes to me and they're very fragile, say a 90-year-old female, osteoporosis, a lot of arthritis, I may never treat that person as a result because their body frame just is too weak. Or if they fall into a category where I think that I can, I may use an instrument instead, where there is no crunching sound, there is no pain, nothing involved. Joints are moved with a very small degree. It's very controlled, very gentle. That makes sense? Does that help answer your question?
Yeah, I think so, but I think that is a fear of people, an unfounded fear.
Yeah.
But wondering when you hear crunching or popping, oh my gosh, what have you done back there?
Okay. Well, just moving joints around a little bit. It's no different than, you know, cracking your knuckles with your fingers. There's a pretty famous study, the British Journal of Medicine, where they looked longitudinally at these people, knuckle crackers. Because people say, oh, you cracked your knuckles.
Yeah, your mom always said, don't do that
do
because
that.
you'll get arthritis.
Yeah, they're going to get big, right?
Yeah.
All this business. No. They looked at it long term, and what they found was
I can't.
knuckle crackers had 4/5 less arthritis than people that didn't.
No way.
Yeah. So it actually makes the joints healthy.
You just cracked your knuckles.
Just like that.
And
I don't even know how to do
You know, when
it.
I just started, I had that voice in my head. Don't do that. Isn't that weird?
Training.
All right.
All right.
Well, we're out of time, but we've really got the questions going here. So tell folks how they can ask you questions or make an appointment or whatever they like to do.
Sure. The easiest way is to email me at kingclinic@aol.com, or they can call for a consultation. That's 641-0644.
All right.
Very easy.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.